Buick is back at it once again, creating a very affordable and modern looking SUV. This is the all new 2024 Buick Envista ST, which stands for Sport Touring. I'm James, this is Test Drive. Let's take you on a full tour and tell you everything you need to know in case you're in the market for one of these extremely affordable new Buicks. Let's go. Yeah. So let's start off under the hood. We have an Ecotec 1.2 liter turbocharged engine that's going to give us 137 horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque. Now, I said it was affordable. I never said it was fast, but as you'll see on this full tour, maybe that doesn't matter so much. Now, you're also getting a front-wheel drive only, as well as 6-speed automatic transmission. The thing that I like about this drivetrain and engine is that Buick has kept it simple. Whether you get the ST or the fully loaded Avenir, you're going to have the same engine, same transmission, and same front-wheel drive. You're basically just trading off some features. Now, with all the specs and numbers out of the way, let's take a look at the exterior. So taking a look first at the front end of this Buick Envista, we have the all-new Buick logo, which looks a little bit more modern, which I like. We also have these really nice and sporty daytime running LEDs. The front stance looks sporty no matter what trim you get, which is really, really cool. It's been turning a lot of heads because you don't see too many of them out on the road just yet, at least around my area, so that's nice. We do have some chrome accents around the main headlight bulb. We have the ST badge for, again, Sport Touring. I like the mix of like black and chrome and like the silvers. It's very nice. And also this car being completely painted in black looks very, very good. It's very stealth, very undercover, but it suits this body style really, really well, you'll see. We have no front-facing camera or no parking sensors because it doesn't come with that for the sports package version, which is completely fine because we're trying to cost save. This is a very affordable SUV, and let's keep it that way. But for affordable, this looks fantastic for the front. Let's head on to the side. All right, so up next is the side profile for the Buick Envista. You can see we have black on black, and with this body style, like I said while I was doing the front, it suits it so well. You can see it's kind of like a coupe compact crossover SUV. It's all those things rolled into one, but it looks so, so good. If I step just out of frame just a little bit to allow you to appreciate it, you can see all those taillights bleed over into the side. Very nice. We have very nice turn signal LEDs. We have one-touch locking and unlock. It is a physical button, but it is not on all four doors, but still very decent. You can see that you're not really losing too much space, and you get kind of like a hatchbacky trunk as well, which I love. I can't complain about it. I really like the side profile of this thing, but let's check out the rear. So here we are now around back for the Buick Envista, and it looks just as good as the front. Like, I've been saying this all week, this car has no business being as nice looking as it is for the amount that it costs. They really, really created something very nice here, I think Buick has. And so let's take a look at these taillights. Very nice and unique, very sleek, really cool. The one thing I will say is that the turn signals are kind of lower on the car when you put them on, and this car already, as you can see, it sits very low. So I just worry that some people will see your turn signals and other people simply won't. So there's something to watch for. But we also have the ST badging here, the Buick badging here, Envista badging. We have a rear view camera here, no parking sensors again. The rear view camera is great quality, no problem. We have a pretty big rear windshield here, but there's no rear wiper because we have just enough of a slope here on the rear to get away with not needing a rear wiper so far anyways. I haven't had a lot of snow this week, so I haven't actually been able to see how that affects things. There's a little bit of chrome on the bottom. I would have liked, since this is the Sport Touring version, I would have liked them to put maybe a diffuser and maybe just show us one exhaust pipe, just one. It would have made things look a little bit better on the rear, but overall, it still looks really, really clean and really, really good, and I just love it in the black. Last but not least, let's pop the trunk open here. One press, and of course, it's an automatic tailgate. That's optional. You don't have to get it, but it's still affordable even if you do. And then you have a ton of space because it's kind of got that hatchback kind of form. You get a ton of trunk space to put stuff in, and you have a little spare tire under the floor here. You can fold the seats down, have even more room, and I don't feel like you're sacrificing that much rear room here because the trunk is like big but not too big. Everything's like really proportionated very, very well here, and the fact that the liftgate's automatic is just a plus for me. So with that being said, let's actually hop in the interior. All right, so here I am now in the back seat of the Buick Envista, and you would think that this is a pretty full-size SUV. Like, it's borderline on the compact, the amount of room I have back here, and it doesn't look like it from the outside. Now, the thing that you trade off usually with these coupes SUVs is you lose a little bit of headroom, but when I sit up normally, I don't find that I actually lose that much. Buick has done an excellent job of kind of creating like a little cave for my head, which is really good. I also have a ton of legroom behind my driver profile. I have no problem getting in or out. There's also no center stack, so there's no bump for the middle seat, and there actually is a genuine middle seat. The one thing we are missing is I don't have anything that folds down here for cup holders or an extra armrest. For that, you might have to go up to the Avenir trim, but honestly, for the price they're asking for this thing, I find it hard to find stuff to complain about. It's just so fantastic what we've got going on here. I have USB-C, USB normal, no vents back here, but it is a small enough cabin where the heat kind of distributes very well. But yeah, it's just really, really impressive the amount of room that I'm getting back here with the Buick Envista. But let's actually check out the main seat in the house. Let's take out the driver's seat. All right, so now I'm in the front seat for the Buick Envista, and this is my favorite seat to be in. Of course, it's the driver's seat. So I'll start off with talking about the steering wheel. It's a nice D-cut steering wheel with that nice new Buick logo. I've got a heated steering control on it. I also have media controls on the back, which is very nice and easy to use. I've got adaptive cruise control here, which is also really cool. No Super Cruise. Would have been nice to see GM kind of, shove that into a Buick, but we'll take it for what it is. I have a digital gauge cluster for the driver, and it's cut off. Like, there's kind of like a little square where the screen is, and then you can just see like this empty black space. I really wish that they would have filled that space, and I don't know if they plan to do it for 25, because this is a true 24, so I don't know what the plan is with Buick there, but I just hope that if they're watching this, extend the gauge cluster screen at least to the borders of the steering wheel, because you notice that there's a little bit of missing real estate. But the good news is it's big enough, plenty of information on it. No problem. I don't have a heads-up display, but I do have like a little circle on the dash that kind of will flash red when I'm, if the car thinks you're about to hit somebody, it'll flash red. It's one of the safety features on here. I don't have any memory seating, but I do have power-adjusted seating for the driver. The passenger, however, does not, but that isn't a big deal, especially, again, with the money that we're saving here. I do have a automatic opening and close trunk button. I can have it open to the max, or open 3/4 of the way, or have it completely off, which is very nice touch too. Next, we move on to the 11-inch infotainment display. That again is standard across the board. Very, very nice, high quality, surprisingly. Sometimes it's not the fastest when you switch from the interface to the Apple CarPlay interface. You see kind of like some fragmenting a little bit, but it's really not noticeable unless you're really looking for it. Like, I'm somebody that is going to look for that, but just in daily use, you don't notice it. We also have a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, which I've been using, which is pretty decent as well. You can control your climate from the infotainment, but you don't have to. The thing I like about this infotainment is it's just simple. There isn't a lot going on in it. There isn't a lot of settings. There isn't a lot to play with. It's basically one of those cars you just get in and you drive, and everything is just very simple, and that, I think, is what's really cool. Now, we also do have CarPlay and Android Auto, so we like that as well. No complaints there. I use the wired version all the time anyways. We have single zone automatic climate control, but all our buttons are there for the climate control. And again, this is a small enough cabin where I don't feel like you really need dual zone automatic. We also don't have ventilated seats. Again, not something we need. We do have 3 levels of heated seats for the driver and my passenger here. So really good. It's everything I'm saying is really, really good. The blue with the black stitching really kind of separates it. It doesn't look boring. It doesn't feel cheap, and it doesn't look cheap, even though it is pretty affordable, which is fantastic. I love the design choices they've made here. I also have one USB-C and one USB normal, and then I have a wireless charging pad. Fantastic as well. Lane keep button. We have a nice simple shifter with the gear selector on the side should you need it. Electronic parking brake, 2 cup holders, a little storage here in the center console. Like I said, the ST on the seats as well for sport touring. Very nice. I am just comfortable in here. I've got plenty of room up front, plenty of room in the rear, but let's actually take it on a test drive and see how it does on the road. Let's go. On the road with the all-new Buick Envista. I have the sport touring trim, but that doesn't change anything engine-wise, suspension-wise, drivetrain, nothing. It's all the exact same across the board, which I really, really like. And I mean, that's kind of, I guess, how you keep things affordable no matter what. I mean, I think the only difference is like materials and maybe enabling or disabling different features across the different models, which is really good news, right? I mean, like 137 horsepower isn't fast, right? Like, it's definitely got kick to it, right? Like, that was me putting my foot to the ground. Thank God for the turbo, because that helps things quite a lot. It takes a little bit of time to kick in, just a little bit, but it does kick in, and it is there, and it does help you quite a lot kind of get up to highway speeds, or just get up to speed at all. And it's also a very smooth delivery too. It's not trying to put you back in your seat. And honestly, with the amount of features that you have in this thing, you don't need all that speed. You don't need this thing to have 200 horsepower, although it looks like it does, which is really cool too, which is just another plus for the Buick Envista. You don't need, it doesn't need to have that, because I'm just really comfortable as it is. I don't need an adaptive suspension. I don't need different drive modes. Like, it's just smooth. I've been really comfortable going over these bumps. I drive on some of the worst roads in Canada here in Quebec, and I'm telling you that this does not rearrange my spine. It's very, very smooth. The road noise is also very good. I believe we have double pane window glass here, so that's also helping us with the road noise. So like, they've just put everything that they can in here without overdoing it, and then just, you know, upcharging the price for no reason. This is really solid. The handling is really good. I mean, maybe if you're really forcing it in turns, you're gonna get a little bit of understeer, but honestly, it's a front-wheel drive car. I don't know what you would expect from it, but you're not taking this car to a track. You're taking this car out to a nice dinner, you know, to run some errands, and you're just looking sporty while doing it. And you haven't even paid that much, but people, not everybody's going to know that. You know, people are going to see this car and think that it's worth $45K, which honestly, with the amount of features, I could see them charging $45K. Maybe they just upscale some of the materials, and bang, we have a $45,000 Buick on our hands. But it's not the case, and that is the biggest selling point for this. And I'm already starting to see some of these on the road, which means that, you know, GM is getting them out on the road, and people are buying them because they agree with the opinion of it looks really sporty, and it's not that expensive, and it's cool. And if I was in the market for a compact crossover kind of thing, SUV with that like coupe, man, the Buick is really high up, just because of how affordable it is, and because all I would use it for is a point A to point B kind of thing, not like a speed demon, you know, nothing, just a grocery getter, just a daily driver. And I think that's why a lot of you are probably watching this video, because you want to know, is the Buick Envista a good daily driver? And I'm here to tell you, absolutely it is. It's got such good handling. Like, see, I'm in, like, you know, for like everyday handling, no problem. And like the body roll's pretty in check too. Like, they've just got an excellent platform, and who knows, maybe one day Buick will just do, you know, a one-off model year where they really put the beams to this thing, and they give it all the power in the world they could give it, and it's really fast and sporty and has cool handling. They could do it because they already have the look of it. So, hey, let's look forward to that. The one thing I think is going to bother a lot of people is the fact that it's not offered in all-wheel drive at all. Whether you get the Sport Touring like I'm sitting in right now, or you get the Avenir, you can't have all-wheel drive. They just didn't make it, and it sucks, because this would be like a really, really like slam dunk car or SUV if they put all-wheel drive in it, especially for Quebec winters, especially for those who need to drive a lot in the Quebec winters. Personally, it wouldn't affect me that much because I don't need to drive that much. My commutes are very short, so a front-wheel drive car I can do it with. But the one thing that you can do if you really want this car, despite not having the all-wheel drive, is invest in a good pair of winter tires, even if they're not mandatory in your area. Niall has a really cool video where he took a Mitsubishi, one of the Mitsubishi SUVs, out on all-season tires in the ice and in the snow and in the garbage, and you can just see there how hard it is to keep control, even with an all-wheel drive car. So I would recommend getting the best you can afford for this, and you won't even notice it. You really won't even notice it that much. So I'll touch a little bit on fuel economy. So, you know, I've done just over like 300 kilometers so far with this thing, and my average is about 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is decent because this is still an SUV. This is still heavier than a sedan would be, and it's still decent. Like, I don't have any drive modes. I can't put this thing in eco or anything like that. I do have an auto start stop thing, which maybe will help me at stoplights and stuff like that, but other than that, it's really not doing too much, and I'm still getting very good fuel economy. And I honestly haven't been hammering on it because this isn't a car that you mash the throttle around in. I do it for like testing when I do little shots like I'm doing right now, but that's it. don't push it to the limit at all, and because you don't need to. Like, this car isn't really built for that or meant for that at all. So you're gonna get pretty good fuel economy, and some of you might even have better fuel economy than me, because I drive in the city a lot and I do a little bit of highway, but mostly I do city driving for a lot of this stuff. So, you know, you might get even better. I think it does get even better. So yeah, overall, there isn't a lot much to say, and there isn't much bad to say either. Like, the only thing, sure, would I have taken more speed? Absolutely. Would I have liked to have an all-wheel drive option? Of course. But do I need either one of those things when it comes to the Buick Envista? Absolutely not. What I have here in the Sport Touring is all I could ever need, winter, summer, rain or shine, whatever it is, whatever the weather. I don't need anything more than what I've got right underneath my feet here. And that's important. And for like a $34,000 or $35,000, you know, crossover, subcompact coupe SUV, whatever you want to call it, it's a hell of a steal. It's a crazy steal. It's like, I don't know how they've kept the cost this low, and I just hope I see a lot on the road, because that's how we have to tell the automakers that we want a lot of features, and we don't really want to pay $50,000 all the time. You don't need a lot of speed. Sometimes people just want a point A to point B car that looks kind of cool and that does the job right and is simple to just get in and drive, and that's exactly what the Buick Envista is. Now, Niall had a Trax recently on the channel, which is very similar to the Buick, or the Envista anyways, and you know, they're compact SUVs, they're small, they're very affordable. So go watch that one after watching this one, or watch that one and then watch this one, and tell me which one's your favorite. I want to know. I haven't tested the Trax yet, but if it does come up here on the Montreal fleet, you know I will do it, and I will give you my thoughts on it, just like we do here on PRN with every other car. But that's going to do it for the Buick Envista. I say go and test drive, go and look at this car in person. Looks fantastic in every color, looks really good in every trim, and just figure out what features you want and what features you don't, because that's all there is to do with this car. Everything else is relatively standard, which is great news. I'm a fan of it. Buick has done a great job. Can't wait to see where they go next. And we'll definitely be checking out more Buicks here on the channel, because so far we're 2 for 2. I've reviewed the Envision and the Envista, and they both impressed me. They both had no business being as good as they are for the amount that they charge, and that is fantastic. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Make sure you like, subscribe, watch another video if you like this one, and I will see you in the next week in the next car. Take care.